I'd like to call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everyone to our regular board meeting. In November, the public portions of this meeting are being recorded in accordance with District Policy 1420 and Section -2-2-214 MCA. By remaining in the meeting, all participants and attendees acknowledge they may appear on the recording, which will be placed on the school district's website for a minimum of 1 year. At this time, anyone wishing to speak on an agenda item, please fill out the pink sheet located at the end of the table and return it to the board secretary as soon as possible. We do have a person who would like to speak to our board in the public comment session, Mr. Rody Holman. Mr. Holman.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Rody Holman. I work with Marsh McLennan Agency, and I've had the good fortune of working with the Butte School District for the past 20 plus years on its insurance program. I'm pleased to come tonight before the board with a bit of good news. As you well know, the Montana Schools Property and Liability Insurance Program insures the school district's assets and its liabilities, vehicles, etc. That's on the package program, but we also have a relationship with the Butte School District on its workers' compensation policy, which is written with the Montana State Fund. So I'm pleased to deliver tonight a check in the amount of $66,000 as a dividend check to the Butte School District, which represents its dividend for the policy period ending in 2024. So that's really cool to be able to do that. That represents about a 23% return on your policy. So the 2023-24 policy premium was around $280,000, $281,000. And so the $66,000 check represents about a 23.5% return for the benefit of the school district, the taxpayers, and the students of the school district. So that's really cool. We've been able to do this for the past few years. Several years ago, we were able to deliver a large dividend check to the school district, and 5 years ago, the Montana State Fund changed its dividend policy. It was originally a loss-sensitive dividend policy, meaning that if a district or if an insured did not perform well, or they could be doing great, and then lo and behold have a bad claim, it could have bounced them out of the opportunity for a dividend. They changed their policy to an all policyholder dividend. These dividends cannot be guaranteed. However, the Montana State Fund has an extremely bright track record of 27 or 28 consecutive years where they've declared and paid dividends. It is now an all policyholder dividend as opposed to the loss sensitive dividend. So very happy to be able to do this. So I'll turn this over to Mr. Patrick.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your work very much, Rody, very much.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd have happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Holman this evening? Yes, sir.
Patrick, the right person to have that check.
Just want to toss it up and see who grabs first.
Right.
Right account with hand on Kevin. So
Yeah, we do thank you very much for your help and
thank
your
you.
time
Thanks
spent with
for
us. Thank you.
allowing me to speak on behalf of the dividend. And I realize it was a little late notice, but I appreciate you shoehorning me in on the agenda.
Anytime you want to give us back money, you're more than welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rody.
Next on our agenda item,
You moving them?
not yet.
Okay.
Okay, next on our agenda item is the approval of minutes for the regular board meeting for October 20th, 2025. Do I have a motion from trustees? Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any changes or questions to these minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? At this time, we have Miss Jennifer Luoma, principal of the Margaret Leary School, for the Margaret Leary School Elementary School presentation. Miss Luoma.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present tonight. As I'm sure you are all aware, students are different than they were 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. The introduction of electronics, especially handheld at your fingertips devices, has changed attention spans. Our 5-year-olds coming to school don't have much attention span, but now our 12-year-olds coming to school have less. And so when we compete against that screen constantly, because that's entertaining to kids, it can be difficult to compete. So we think about students, and as they're walking out of school, they pull out their phones. And when they are at night, supposed to be sleeping, they're pulling out their phones, and we have to compete with that. So how can we compete with that? Well, last year I wrote a grant, and the grant focused on partnering with families. And because I think that partnering with families is the key. We need to bring families back in to the conversation about education. And this is the book that every kindergarten, first and second grader in the district will get. So this book is all about Principal Finnegan, and he has a super special guest who is coming to school. And so they need everybody's help to plan this party for this super special guest. So they enlist the help of the porcupines, and the porcupines are going to blow up the balloons. But of course, that's not the best job for the porcupines to blow up the balloons. They enlist the help of the elephants, because the elephants are then going to provide the cups, but the elephants don't have enough money to provide the cups. So then they think of what else they can do. And it goes on and on and on. And so if you look through it, it's a choose your own adventure book. And so as it's read to the kids, then the kids can decide, what should we do? Should we try to do that? Or should we call the principal and ask the principal if we can do something else? And as they go through the book, you realize that different families have different gifts. And those are the gifts that they can then come and share with their schools. After this is read to the kiddos, each kiddo will take this book home. And I'm hoping that you'll partner with me in coming in as a community member to read these to the students. We're going to have an event day. It was supposed to be in October, and they're having printing problems. So it keeps getting pushed back. So I just got enough copies for you, but hopefully the rest are just coming soon. But once I have that date, I'm hoping that we can get community members into our schools to see what wonderful things we do and to read to kiddos so that they can see that we are invested in their education and invested in what's best for them. And then all on the same day, the reveal will be that last page. Who is the super special guest? And if you look, it is everybody. It is you, and it is the kiddo, and it is their parents, because it takes a village in order to educate these kiddos. And that's what I think we need the message to our community to be. It's not all on us, it's on everybody. This will go home then with the kiddos, and they'll read it with their parents, and they have parent homework. And the homework is, what can I do to be part of that school community? So there's lots of ideas. The school needs your superpower. You can, maybe you can cut things out. Maybe you can volunteer your time. Maybe you can just check your kiddos' homework. There's lots and lots of ideas. And then on the other side, put down your phone and spend time with your kiddo. So then there's ideas of what you can do to actually spend time with your kiddo. So this will go home with every kindergarten, first, and second grade student in our district. And I hope that with that, the kiddos will be able to, the parents will feel like we want you as our partners, and we can then continue to build that partnership with families throughout the year. So that is the book. Here is a QR code. If you would like to volunteer, scan it, sign up. And then as soon as I know what the date is, I will be contacting you to come in if you would like to read to kids. I think the more that we can see people from our community in our schools, the better. And then finally, I've just included the brochure that we sent home that has all of our information on how we involve our parents, our test scores, our goals, our expectations, our vision, and positives. So, any questions?
Yeah, I got a question. How much was the grant to be able to get all the books for every kid?
Gosh, now it was so long ago, I can't remember. They are about $8 a book, and there were about 400 kiddos,
Thank you.
or more than 400, about 1,200 maybe.
Yeah, 1,200.
So Town Pump was great in sponsoring that. Their charitable foundation partnered with us, so. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Very cool.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Luoma. Appreciate your hard work and your grant writing. You want to do some more grant writing for us? Next on our agenda is the Bridge Health Alliance update. We have two gentlemen here who have just spoken at Butte High School. If they come up and introduce themselves, Ms. Jonart is on the phone. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for having me tonight. My name is John Doran. That's Doran. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer for Bridge Health Alliance. We are the new trust that is forming as a result of House Bill 332 from 2 legislative sessions ago. I'm here to tell you things are going incredibly well. We just had a wonderful meeting with some of your staff talking a lot about the value of Bridge Health Alliance. But suffice it to say that we are here for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is public education. The 3 goals of our organization are to improve health outcomes for all of your staff and their loved ones, to redirect resources to school district budgets, and as importantly, put money back in teachers and staff members' pockets where it belongs. Bridge is entirely a different entity than you've probably come to know in health insurance today. The partners that we have selected, the strategies that we are deploying on behalf of public education are almost the antithesis of what you find in the marketplace today. And that is one of the big benefits that we can provide to public schools. Since launching cost proposals back in September of this year, we have been furiously going around the state. And in fact, since last March, we've driven about 29,000 miles across this state. We have visited with more than 300 schools, and we have put together a structure for this new organization, unlike anything that's been done in Montana. And that is based on the feedback that we've gotten from schools. So our benefit designs, input from schools, our 2-tier structure, benefit or feedback from schools. In fact, our entire organization is driven by schools. So we're really excited about our prospects. So we have to essentially earn signed commitments from at least 150 school districts across the state, covering 12,000 employees. And once we do that, we have the opportunity to take advantage of the $40 million incentive payment from the legislature, which, as you know, is a historic opportunity. We are incredibly encouraged at our progress, and we look forward to continue fighting on all of your behalf. I'm now going to introduce my colleague, Jed Wagner, and he's going to talk about the specific cost proposal for Butte Public Schools.
Hello, everyone. So we did go over costs with all the teachers and employees, and I'm happy to say that we actually delivered a 2.9% decrease over their current rates. I don't know if we have any fellow insurance geeks in here, but it's not very often that we're talking about decreases in health insurance. And so you can see the looks on the employee's face, they were ecstatic. Furthermore, we added an additional plan. So today they only have the choice of 3. Now they'll have 4 plans to choose from. Lastly, every single plan we offered had a significantly better benefit. I believe they had a $6,900 deductible benefit. We don't even think about offering anything like that. The lowest cost benefit we offer is $5,000. That means for a single employee, a $1,900 swing in deductible, and for a family, it's going to be $3,800. So I feel what we provided today stacked up really well. A couple of other features of our plan designs. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but suicide, Montana, I believe, is either number 1 or number 2. So a cornerstone of all of our plans is going to be a $5 copay for a mental health visit. Doesn't matter whether it's a private or whether it's a counselor, psychiatrist, or psychologist. Now, keep in mind when I'm talking about $5 copays, that does not work for high deductible health plans because they're not allowed to have copays. What we did for those folks and everyone else is they will have access to $0 telehealth visits. So our telemedicine solution actually has primary care, urgent care, as well as mental health. And people that are on a high deductible health plan can still access mental health for a $0 copay. But I'm sure you've heard a lot about us. Do you have any questions?
Any questions of the gentleman?
I guess we'll start. Have you guys looked at the retirees yet?
Absolutely. I should
We
have
haven't heard
spoken about the
back
retirees first. It's a question we get everywhere. So with Bridge, we're not changing how you guys currently approach retirees whatsoever. We really are here to administer what you have today. Another important thing to note is when we talk about retirees, there's 2 types. There's your early retirees. So folks that stay on the plan, generally speaking, the school does not contribute to those folks. I believe they used to, but most of those folks have aged out. Then we also have Medicare retirees. So folks that use your plan, but also have Medicare as primary. So we'll be offering both.
The only other question I had was, it's all tiered now?
Yeah, so the tier, are we talking rate tiers like employee, spouse?
Yes.
That was a decision made last year. We matched that. But there was some discussion. I think everyone has an opinion on tiering, and that's totally fine. That does not matter to us. So if the vote is that they would prefer composite rates, we can easily administer those. I actually developed those rates today just so in case it came up. But it's kind of tough because when you went from composite to tiered, some people benefited, right? And some didn't. Likewise, when you go back, same thing happens. So, but we can administer either. That's for you guys to figure out, and we're happy to help either way.
Thank you.
Mr. Milton?
So I have 3 questions, so I'll put them out there right now, and then if you need me to repeat them, hope that I remember. So next steps locally, you need to have approval of this from our local folks, i.e. the unions. Then next question and I'm trying to recall, but I'm asking you is with respect to the timeline here of getting to the 150 schools, 12,000 folks, can you remind me, is there a deadline for that to be able to access that $40 million from the legislature? And then last question is, moving into next session 27, where do we need to be at as far as being prepared for that session?
Excellent questions, Mr. Vice Chair. So the first is the next steps will be that your teachers who are owning the plan will visit with themselves. And I must say, we're working incredibly hard on your behalf for health insurance. The only person working harder is Lindsay Cambich. She's done an amazing job getting us to this point, but Lindsay will put it out to a vote of her staff. And then that vote would be made as a recommendation to this body, and this body would vote one way or the other to join Bridge Health Alliance. We are asking for commitments by December 19th. And there's a couple of reasons we're asking for December 19th commitment timeframe. It's atypical, we know, to make such a big decision that far in advance. Typically, you're looking at renewals a couple of months in advance. But we want schools to know where Bridged is before the end of the year. And we want you to have a clear picture of the path forward well before you start to look at renewals next year. And then, of course, on the back end, we need to stand up the organization, right? Once we reach those thresholds to stand up the organization. Relative to the legislature, we did make one slight tweak in the legislative bill last session, which was great. And that allows us to access the 40 million upon validation rather than on July 1st of 2026. But we are marching forward. We have continued to have commitments come in every single day. We're really encouraged about our opportunity. And again, this is just a historic chance to inject this kind of money into public education, which really addresses the second biggest line item in every school budget, and that's health insurance.
Now, well, we are the only district in the state in which the unions own their insurance plan. Are you going to every single union in Butte or just approaching the teachers?
just approaching the teachers through Lindsay.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would just add, so while the teachers own the plan, the reason that we have to get your approval as well is because of the multi-district agreement. So it really takes both.
Yeah, Mr. Vice Chair, to kind of further your question there on the process. So there are 3 legal documents that will all be submitted to Butte in every school district. These are standard across the state. They're the exact same agreements. The first is the trust agreement, and I affectionately call this the Bridge Constitution. It basically is a legal document, spells out who we are, how we operate. One note on how we operate, we will be driven by our participating school districts. So we will have a board of 11 representatives, and all of those representatives have to be members of participating school districts, and all participating school districts elect our board. The second document is the participation agreement, and that clearly spells out the terms of participating in Bridge Health Alliance. And the third document, as Judd referenced, is the multi-district agreement. The law that passed allowed us to pass forward. One was a multi-district agreement, and under the existing statute, the boards of trustees have to sign those agreements.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board or Ms. Jonart?
John, what's the process of getting the state licensing piece of this?
Yes, and Ms. Jonart, are you referring to the provider contracting?
Right.
Yes, so we have partnered with Allegiance Benefit Plan Management out of Missoula. They have 100% of the hospitals in the network and 97% of all physicians, so very robust access both in-state and out-of-state. We are utilizing essentially the framework of what the state of Montana was able to do to drive substantial savings in their self-funded employee health plan. We are going to each individual hospital right now across the state, talking with them about that approach. We're having very, very good conversations. Once we validate with 150 plus schools covering 12,000 employees, that's a lot more negotiating power. So all of the hospitals that we're having the discussions with are very favorable. They want to see us validate and then get those contracts negotiated. But again, they're existing contracts with all 100% of hospitals.
Thank you. Any other questions? Gentlemen, appreciate your time very much.
Thank you all so much for having us. We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Any speeding tickets?
Zero today.
I got a million of them.
Next on our agenda is the recognition of the Community Action Team Food Drive. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, before I say anything about that, I do want to thank Mr. Doran and Judd and Lindsay for taking time this afternoon to talk to you, the board, about this and give you an update on that. I think it's very important to let you know where we're at, and that will, because of the timeline, this will come to the board. Depending upon their decision, it will come to the board if they choose to do so in December. So just heads up on that. Also, I'd like to take the time to recognize the Community Action Committee and for being instrumental, Mr. O'Neill and his committee and the entire Butte community for their work they did on the food drive during the government shutdown. I can't say enough about how much work they put into it. Butte Silver Bowl and Chief Executive Gallagher, Bill Melvin at the Civic Center, and all the volunteers, Father Beretta, all of them who worked really hard to get food to the food bank and help our families that were struggling. 1 out of 4 of Montana's that are food deprived are kids. So this really impacted our students. And so I can't be more appreciative to what the community did and gathered to work together to get help the food bank provide food to our community and our kids. It was a great effort, and I just am absolutely so appreciative to all their work. So I wanted to make sure that it was recognized today.
Thank you, ma'am.
We have another meeting.
You are now on the recognition of the Sunrise Kiwanis, Ms. Jonart.
Yes, Madam Chairman, members of the board, on the same note, Todd Case and his organization contacted us and, that group, the Sunshine Group, Sunrise Group, excuse me, they, purchased 1,800 pounds of potatoes. And they were in 5-pound bags, so that was about 356 bags that were delivered to Kennedy, West and Emerson, last week during parent-teacher conferences, so that when parents were there, they could grab some potatoes to help, curb that food shortage as well. So I can't thank Todd Case and his membership for doing that. It was awesome, and it was sure appreciated by our parents. So thanks to the Kiwanis Club.
Thank you, ma'am. And you now have a recognition of Butte High School Student Council Food Drive.
One more on this same topic is the Butte High School Student Council Food Drive, and that's led by Cody Dunmeyer and her group at Butte High School. They always partner every Thanksgiving and do a food drive. And last couple of years, they've been partnering with the Thompson Food Drive, and that has helped significantly add more food to the food bank. So I would be remiss if I didn't recognize their efforts. They've been phenomenal. And besides all of that, all of our schools that participate in this food drive, it's huge, and they've been doing it year after year. And I just want to make sure that everyone knows how much I appreciate it, and this community appreciates our schools and our student council at Butte High for participating in this food drive.
Thank you, ma'am. And Mr. Patrick, election update.
Madam Chair, members of the board, as you know, at the last legislative session, there's a few changes in election laws, and then to go along with that was some dates. So just kind of wanted to update you guys and give you a few of the dates that we have coming up. I do have on the agenda for us to pass a resolution. Usually we do that in February with date changes. Now it's required that we do it 145 days before the election, which would put us at which is December 11th. So we'll do it at this board meeting, so we don't have to have a special board meeting to do that. And then just another couple of dates is from December 11th through February 9th. That is when trustee candidates can file for election. And then another kind of important date is February 24th. That's 70 days before the election. So at that point, the resolution that we're have up for approval tonight, we can amend that motion if we see necessary. And then another date would be March 26th. That's when we'd be certifying the ballots. So the trustees before that time would pass a resolution stating the exact levy amounts. And then kind of the next big date for you guys to know about is May 5th, which would be the actual day of the election. So just kind of wanted to give you an update on those dates and those changes. And is there any questions on that?
Any questions, Mr. Patrick? Mr. Bilty?
Not a question, a request. Could you put that in a neat little packet and email that to me, those dates?
Oh, yep. I'll send you
I
this.
got the December and.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll just hope I put something out so I can send that out to all you guys. Yep.
Okay, appreciative. Thank you.
So if we want to run again between December 11th and February 9th, we come see you for our election stuff.
Yep.
Who's up?
We have,
Tom, Patty, and Ann.
yep.
Sounds like
Three
a good one.
musketeers.
All right. Again, thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it. And it is, you go to Kevin because he can do everything. You don't have to go up to the courthouse. He can send everything to the courthouse. Okay? All right. Anyone wishing to speak on any matter not on the agenda may step forward now. Please identify yourself before you begin. I must caution anyone wishing to speak. You may not discuss personnel issues, student issues, or pending litigation during the comment session. Due to time constraints, each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes. Do we have any public comment on items not on the agenda? Hearing none, we will move on to the approval of payroll claims, budget transfers, revenue reports, budget versus actual reports, travel requests, and school budget reports. Motion from trustees.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any questions on this? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes.
Madam Chair, if I could interject here, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda by requesting that item 7.7, approval to hire a certified teacher, be moved to current action prior to the personnel reports.
Is there a second? Second. It has been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any questions? Reason being for this is that the request for a certified teacher, she is on the FAR, or the person is on the FAR, so we would like to get the request for a certified teacher done before we actually do the hiring. Everybody okay with this? All right, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor of changing the agenda, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. All right. All right, it is 7.7, approval to hire a certified teacher. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I apologize. I put the cart before the horse on the agenda. And it's only because of, it's a timing issue, frankly. We very seldom have certified teachers available. So, and we have some long-term leaves coming up. So we wanted to make sure that we had a certified teacher. So by allowing me to hire a district teacher, that will allow me to get a certified teacher in those long-term leaves. So I appreciate your approval. And again, I apologize for getting this out of order.
All right, could I have a motion from trustees? Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any further questions of Ms. Jonart regarding the approval to hire a certified teacher? Mr. Bilty.
Madam Chair, Superintendent Jonart. So, and again, this is just Tom trying to make sure he understands what he's doing. So the teacher being hired is for positions potentially that it need to be on leave, or is the position been identified already?
Thank you for the question. Yes, actually, she is right now as a substitute teacher, filling in right now for this leave. And so we wanted to make her sure that she could go to contract and then keep her when the next leave comes up later on after this leave is up. And to be honest with you, the leave that she's going to be filling in right now, I know this sounds convoluted. We don't know how long it's going to go. It could go a month, it could go 3 months, it could go for the whole year. So we just wanted to be safe. If indeed it goes for the whole year, then I have a certified teacher in that position, which we need. If it doesn't, then I have upcoming leaves of absence that can be filled by this teacher.
Mr. Bilty.
So thank you for that. So then, and again, so then coming forward in the spring when there's the job fair, I guess I'm just trying to understand that we're not putting somebody in a position that somebody else didn't have an opportunity to.
Right. And this would just be like a temporary, because it would, because all of these have to go to the job fair anyway. And this is just for this year, and it might not be included in the staffing.
Okay,
It's just for this year. Thank you for that question.
Any other questions for Ms. Jonart? All right, motion on the floor, approve with the hire certified teacher. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to the par number 1, Ms. Alley.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I present to you the November 17th regular par. On that, I'm seeking approval of one appointment under certified personnel, one retirement, 8 appointments under classified, 1 retirement, and 4 resignations. Under supplemental, I'm seeking the approval of 19 to be appointed, 3 resignations, 2 inactive removals. I'd also like to know why we have a pending successful background check. Those background checks have all come in since we typed this. They all came back clear and are good to go.
Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any further questions, Ms. Ellie, regarding the approval of par number 1? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Approval of par 2, Ms. Ellie.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I have before you a second par. I'm seeking the approval of a classified personnel termination.
Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any questions to Ms. Ellie regarding the classified removal of termination? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to new business now. Ms. Jonart, second reading and approval of policy 1009 FE, recruitment and retention.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I ask for your approval of policy 1009 FE as presented last month regarding recruitment and retention.
Motion from trustees. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further questions, Ms. Jonart, regarding policy 1009? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Second reading and approval of policy 2334, release time for religious instruction. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I'm asking for approval of policy 2334 as presented last month.
Motion from trustees. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Trustees have any further questions, Ms. Jonart, regarding policy 2334? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Second reading and approval of policy 3141, non-resident student enrollment, 3141F-1, application for out-of-district attendance, 3141F-2, out-of-district attendance agreement, and 3141F-3, foster and group home student attendance. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I'm asking approval of policy 3141 and the forms F1, F2, and F3 as presented last month.
Motion from trustees. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any further questions on policy 3141 and all others? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Second reading and approval of policy 3612 and 3612P, district provided access to electronic information services, equipment and networks, and 3612F, internet access and equipment use conduct agreement. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I'm asking approval of policy 3612 along with 3612P and 3612F as presented last month.
Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any further questions, Ms. Jonart, regarding the 3612 set? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Second reading and approval of policy 3650, pupil online personal information protection. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, last one, asking approval of policy 3650 as presented last month.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any further questions to Ms. Jonart? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Ms. Jonart, approval of the contract with the Montana School for the Deaf and Blind.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, includes for your review and approval is a contract between Butte School District and the Montana School for Deaf and Blind for the 25-26 school year. They do provide consultant support for our blind students.
Motion from trustees? Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded. Any questions to Ms. Jonart regarding the contract with Montana School for the Deaf and Blind? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Approval of the elementary and high school election resolutions. Mr. Patrick.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I'm asking for your approval of the Butte Elementary resolution calling for an election and the Butte High School resolution calling for the election. Both resolutions will call for a mail ballot. The elementary will call for to elect 3 trustees for a 3-year term, and then also approval of additional levies to operate and maintain the general fund for FY27, student safety and security building reserve fund, and a technology fund will also be requested. And in the high school, we don't have any trustee positions up in the high school at this time, but we will be asking for approval of additional levies to operate and maintain the general fund for FY27, student safety and security building reserve fund, and the technology fund will also be requested. And as far as the resolutions go, we have to list all those resolutions and not necessarily saying that we're going to go to the voters. We can decide that at a later date, but we do need to get them on the resolution just so that we have the option to do that. So we're just covering our bases by listing them, not necessarily at this time saying we're going to run them. So, so with your approval, I'd like to bring those resolutions forward.
Motion from trustees?
So moved.
Is there a second? Did trustees have any questions for Mr. Patrick regarding the elementary and high school election resolutions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Approval of the contract with Yellowstone Boys and Girls Ranch Home Support Services. Ms. Johnson.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I am bringing back the YBGR contract to see they're due to some changes in funding. During COVID, they increased the rate of Medicaid, so there was a match for services. The district for the flow through kind of leveled out. They had lowered the rate now, so this would cost the district money. We're not sure how much, so we're bringing the CSD contract again to do a billable that they will do their own billing. It will not flow through the school district anymore. They will bill their own Medicaid just like Aware is doing under their contract, and they're responsible for all those services. We did have to adjust a little because it's not under school based anymore. So we'll have to do some home supports or some more parent involvement in these services, and we're going to work with the schools on this adjustment at a slow rate, but enough so that these kids don't get just dropped and not have any services was our concern. So I'm just asking your approval to make this adjustment to the contract. The biggest thing is going to be the billing will no longer go through the school district to flow through. It will just be billed through YBGR.
Motion from trustees? Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any questions of Ms. Johnson regarding the contract with Yellowstone Boys and Girls Ranch? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Next is the approval of the Native American Student Club. Mr. Johnson.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I am requesting approval to add a new club at Butte High School, the Native American Student Club. We do have a student club advisor, Colleen Fogarty, who volunteered that she would be the club advisor for the Native American Student Club. Thank you for your consideration.
Motion from trustees?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any questions to Mr. Johnson regarding the Native American Student Club? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. We are completely done with our new business today. Motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Let's see.
All those opposed? Thank you. Everyone, thank you. All who are here, enjoy your next week. Enjoy Thanksgiving.